Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Steve. This is my wife, Lindsay, and today we're going to be reacting to 11 uniquely British things you'll only find in the UK. I have no idea what to expect from this list. Do you have any idea what uniquely British things that you'll only find in the UK? Double-decker bus. That's a good one.
I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Oh, man. I have no idea. I'm sure I'm going to know a number of these.
Probably.
But
in retrospect.
In retrospect, but I can't really think off the top of my head. What would it be? British things you'll only find in the UK. I don't know. But I got a feeling I'm going to know a number of these, but you'll probably know a few less than me.
Probably.
But yeah, you got anything you want to add before we get started?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in here and check out these uniquely British items that you'll only find in the UK.
Hi everyone, it's me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 7 years,
originally.
And let me tell you,
7 years.
I've seen some weird stuff. The UK is full of things that are weird and wonderful and I absolutely love it. So without further ado, let's go. Maybe saying I love it is maybe not the right choice of words because the first thing we have to talk about
Blobby, Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby, for the uninitiated, the only way that I can describe it is basically like a drug-fueled nightmare.
Yes, I did a reaction.
Horrifying.
I did a reaction to Mr. Blobby a while back, and he is horrifying. Like, he is, if I was a kid. Yeah, if I was a kid. Now, some people in the comments, I remember, were like, they love Mr. Blobby, but a lot of people
would have given me nightmares.
A lot of people were crazy, like, fearful of Mr. Blobby growing up.
Yeah.
But
I can see why.
you can, like, when you hear his voice, it's this, I can, I don't even know how to do it. But, yeah.
Who dreamed that up? Somebody who didn't like children.
That just never ends. You wake up and yet it's still there. I think such a weird, can I say weird? I'm gonna say, I think this
very unique.
To be weird. It is such a weird, like, pop culture icon that I think it's safe to say it's very divisive. You either despise Mr. Blobby, you don't get it, you wish it would end, or you think it's hilarious. I feel like that's it. You gotta be on one side or the other.
Yeah, I think honestly, so too, probably.
Every time I have seen Mr. Blobby, it has been against my will. I don't get it.
Okay, was this seriously a kid's show though?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Target age
I can't remember, it's been a while, but I think it was originally like a skit or something on some other show. And I can't remember if he had his own show or if Mr. Blobby was just always a part of another show, but he was mainly a kid's character from what I understand.
Seems like just in that little preview there that we saw, he's not teaching very good behavior.
Well, he was, I think he was, the thing was he was very mischievous.
Yeah, that's not good for kids.
Well, obviously.
They want to emulate whatever.
Obviously, but I don't know. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Quite frankly, I just don't get it. But on one hand, like I kind of, I don't want to say appreciate. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I love that the UK is full of
that uniqueness,
just
random,
strange things.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you're gonna like them all because I don't like Mr. Blobby. I don't get it, but I love that the UK is so unique. Only see in the UK, and I absolutely love this. And it's about biscuits, but actually.
Biscuits in court. Oh, Jaffa cakes.
Biscuits. Biscuits in court. Or is it cake? Now, I didn't know when I came to the UK about Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes.
Is it Jaffa or Jaffa? I thought it was Jaffa.
Also, did you know
how would you pronounce it?
Jaffa cakes were introduced in the UK
in
1927. Damn. Now, basically, in the UK.
Okay, guys.
That's interesting that I say Jaffa because normally I feel like I would pronounce it Jaffa.
Well, you are from a more northern area than I am. Like, you know, I'm from the South, she's from the Midwest, and so we do pronounce a number of words differently, but I would definitely call that Jaffa cakes is how I know that people from where I'm from would pronounce that. But I'm curious, how do you guys in the UK pronounce those? Are they Jaffa cakes or Jaffa cakes? She's from Canada, so I would expect probably the Jaffa to be more what probably people up there would, how they would pronounce that. But I have no idea.
Okay, if you sell a chocolate-covered biscuit, you have to pay tax on said biscuit. but not cakes. So Jaffa cake. Is it a cake? Is it a biscuit? If it is a chocolate covered biscuit, they would have to pay tax. If it is a chocolate covered cake, they would not have to pay tax.
I think honestly in the name.
So they went to court, which I just
It's not a Jaffa biscuit.
love.
So
can you imagine like an episode of The Good Wife, but it's Jaffa cakes? So McVitie's defended their case that no, we're not a biscuit, we're a cake. All right, and here's why. And the court actually sided with them. And that even though Jaffa cake has characteristics of both a biscuit and a cake, they would be considered a cake and avoid the tax. This whole story just...
That's wild, though.
It just makes me laugh. It's so rich and I love it. But unfortunately, I hate Jaffa cakes. I think they're gross.
Yeah,
I wanted to say, the first time I tried them, I didn't hate it. I thought it was like, I think I rated like a 5.5 or something. It was kind of middle of the road for me. But when I tried them like later on, throughout the next couple of days, I had a few here or there. And they grew on me a little bit. And I think I would probably rate them about a 7 now. I actually liked them quite a bit more.
Liked them.
Sophia loved them. She loved the Jaffa cakes. But I would say that is definitely a cake. I wouldn't call it a biscuit, right? And
my thing is, why would biscuits or cakes make a difference?
I mean, we know biscuits are very popular in the UK, and so maybe the way the government looks like cakes aren't as popular as biscuits, so they're like, well, we can tax biscuits and make a lot more money. I have no idea, but it is interesting why you would tax biscuits, but you wouldn't tax cakes too. I don't know if anybody knows about that
chocolate,
or maybe even if someone's got a video they can share with us for us to check that whole thing out. Please leave in the comments. We'd like to look into that a little bit more.
Another thing that you will only see in the UK has to do with TV, and perhaps that it is
TV
not
license.
Free. So something
I just recently reacted to that
early on here in the UK is that you cannot watch TV for free. And I was very surprised.
Yeah, I was too.
I have never heard of a TV license before. That was a new one for me. Also, can we talk about the letters that you get? So most people who watch my videos are British. You will know what the TV license is. For the like 5% of people who don't, basically you have to pay for a license to watch live TV or like anything BBC related. So you don't have to pay a license to watch things like YouTube, but if you were watching like a live event on YouTube, technically that would fall under a license from what I understand. If you want to watch BBC iPlayer, you have to have a license. You want to watch classic TV, you know, scrolling through the channels, you have to have a TV license. And with that, they send some wildly
Yeah, I heard about this. In that video I reacted to, they showed a little bit of the letter.
Man, this is like IRS stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? What I learned is a lot of people in the comments were explaining, well, obviously it's like a split thing. Like a lot of people don't like it at all. And then a lot of people like are okay with it because they're like, well, they like BBC content and they like the fact that they don't have advertising because of the fact they pay the license fee. And so for me, I'm like, I don't watch live TV much anyway, so this wouldn't be something I would do. And I definitely wouldn't sign up for it. I would just watch the TV afterwards. Generally speaking, for the most part, we usually watch Hulu and whatnot.
I'm confused, though. What? So this is any channel, not just BBC, but for some reason BBC is the one.
Right. From what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I've only got a brief understanding of this, but anything BBC, you have to pay the license fee. Anything, I don't think it's everything. I think there's certain things you can watch.
You're breaking the law if you watch or record live TV programs on any channel or device.
Well, maybe that is it. I couldn't tell for sure if that's the case, but I think as long as you're watching them after the fact, you're fine. You just can't watch live TV.
Threatening letters. So I remember it typically happens like when you move house. So I have lived in a whole bunch of homes and flats here in Kent over the last 7 years. And it oftentimes will happen, you like move into a new property and you get a threatening letter and they're like, hey, we know that you're watching live TV and you don't have a license and we're gonna take you to court. Or it might say something like, we have begun formal like prosecution
Oh
of
my
you.
gosh. This is literally like the IRS.
Yeah, nah, man. I wouldn't deal with that, man. I'm not even gonna talk to these people,
That's
man.
a bad taste in my mouth for a company if they treat people like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit, not my thing. Like, especially like imagine getting this and they're telling you that you don't even watch live TV.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I don't
So
even.
it's like such a scam. Like they're just trying to scare you into.
I don't know, but it's just kind of like, nah, man, don't even go there with me. Because I don't watch live TV really. I do a little like, college basketball or whatnot, but that's pretty much it. Like I don't watch live TV other than that. And so it would, if I was like literally moving and I got a letter like this and I didn't watch I'd be a little upset about that. It's like, don't waste my time.
It would make me never want to purchase their service.
Right.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
Because we know you're watching TV without a license. It is really scary. And I realized that the money then goes towards the BBC, which, is it a well-loved institution still?
Seems to be half and half, I think, based on my comments.
And it does go towards, media and that kind of stuff. But yeah, never seen anything like a TV license before. While I was brainstorming things that you will only see in the UK, of course, I thought, you know what? We gotta talk about this. This beautiful abomination.
What is that?
What was
that like a pot pie?
In a bun? It looked
like a lot of bread.
Where is that? Hold on, I want to see it again. Oh, I missed it. Oh, there it is. What is that? It is like a pot pie sandwich.
Seems excessively bready. But
beautiful abomination. So this, of course, is a Wigan kebab. I'm so sorry. The pronunciation on that really sucks.
Wigan kebab.
There's nothing I can do about my voice. So this is a pie, little pie inside of a buttered roll. So normally, you might eat the little meat pie. Delicious. Would love one. Thank you. And Wigan said, you know what? Let's butter a roll and put it on either side. Some people may call this a pie
That's wild.
barm.
A what?
The pronunciation on that was pretty messed up, wasn't it?
Pie barm.
Listening to me speak is probably really annoying, isn't it? I have never seen anything like this. Not even close.
You haven't heard me, sister.
The only thing that comes to mind is a chip butty, which
Oh, yeah. I told you about those. Mm-hmm. Have you seen those on a reaction yet? Mm-mm. Probably not.
It doesn't sound pleasant to me.
That's what I said, and people tell me
of the texture.
Yeah, people tell me, "Oh, it's so good," and I'm like,
it just seems like it'd be very mushy,
soft on soft.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm gonna eat a sandwich, I have to have some pull and some crunch, some meat in there.
If they're really crispy chips, I could see maybe, possibly. Still doesn't seem that good, but I'd try it.
Yeah, we're gonna try that at some point, but I don't know. We're obviously going to make them very crispy because I know there's no way you can't. You have to make those crispy, right?
Yeah, it'll just be smushy.
But otherwise, they just be smushy. I'm not a big fan of mushy, soft like foods and stuff.
Neither Sophia.
So like, I don't know if I would be a fan of that because it doesn't seem like it would have like. I don't like a sandwich unless it's got like, I don't know, bacon or chicken or what meat in general on it. I can't think of ever eating a sandwich that don't have meat on it. I mean, you probably have, but
I don't know.
I don't think I have.
Oh, yeah, like grilled cheese.
Oh, yeah, and I don't like grilled cheese, so.
But the bread is it's toasted and grilled.
Yeah, true.
So.
Now, maybe that's just one example. Maybe sometimes you do toast the bread. Let us know in the comments. I think you would want to toast the bread on this. I don't think it would be good if it was just the softness on top of softness. Now, again, like you said, the chips being crispy would definitely probably increase the likelihood that I would like something like that. But so it looks like they got ketchup on it, which would make sense to me.
Is a sandwich made with fries inside, and guess what? That's British too. You guys love your carbs. And you know what? I respect that. Because I do too. I'll be honest though, I haven't had one of these and I would like to. I would really, really like to have one of these. Here in Kent, I can't say that I see these, at any sort of like fast food kind of places. So I could make my own, but it's never really the same, right?
Yeah, it's true, man.
I should make my own anyway.
You're going to have to try
Stay
it.
tuned. I'm gonna make
by
my own. Not right now.
like the real way
Maybe
in the
tomorrow. Not
UK.
tomorrow. Someday soon. Now, I am very lucky because one thing that I absolutely love to do is to try new food. And I don't want this video to be all about food. But let's be honest, the UK has some really weird food. So while we're here, I would just like to nominate one more thing, and it's this.
What is that?
What is that?
Ah,
What is that?
I gotta be honest.
What?
If I was at someone's house and they tried to serve me that, I would be really scared.
That?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if
The
I
eyes are staring at you.
wait, what?
The fish eyes.
Wait, oh my
You didn't
goodness!
see the fish?
I thought it was like burnt carrots or purple
No.
carrots or something. I didn't even notice this. Okay, are those what?
And I'm sure it's just what you're used to, like growing up,
Man, I don't know about
eating
that.
these foods. But for someone who hasn't, that would be quite a culture shock.
Yeah, but that's the thing, I mean, it is. It would be a culture shock. But there's plenty of things, especially down south where I'm from. If people come from other areas to try, hey, you want some chitlins?
Or alligator.
Or you want some fried alligator?
Yeah.
Or you want some snake?
But there's just something about like the animal staring back at you. When you're
And here's what I say. Like, I agree with you, but I think that is something that more women would probably have a problem
yeah,
with
I'm
more
sure.
than men.
Yeah.
I think men are more likely to be able to
You're
look at that and be
more
like,
savage.
I'll give it a try.
I'm sorry, what? Just looking at it makes me want to cry. So this is a stargazy pie. It is a pastry-based fish pie.
No.
Which, fine.
Yeah.
Fish pie, sure.
Yeah.
Obviously doesn't
don't like
look
fish,
like
but-
a fish pie, perhaps, because it has whole pilchards.
That's
which I didn't know what that
creepy.
is,
That
but
was creepy.
apparently it's basically like a slightly larger sardine.
I thought it was like
And
a sardine.
The whole slightly larger sardines have to stick out of the pie and look at you. Something that you will only see in the UK are Brits throwing themselves down a very steep hill
Cheese rolling.
to catch
Oh,
a
yeah.
rolling cheese.
Yeah, we
This, of course,
reacted
is
to
the
that.
Cooper Hill cheese roll, and I love it. And you might think, oh, this is like a nice little festival. People from all over the world.
Yeah, I saw somebody from like
Come
New
to
Zealand
this-
one.
festival / competition all over the world. Perhaps like me hearing about this, you think, ooh, that's really cute. That's really fun. How quaint, how silly. I want to partake. I want to go. I want to run down a hill chasing a bit of cheese. And then you see the footage. And you think, maybe not. This competition is rough. You guys didn't tell me that the UK has the, what I would say, most wild collection of festivals ever. Anywhere. Ever. In the
Maybe this
history of
is-
mankind. And I do think this needs to be a video, like, on its own. But I've written down just a taster list. Taster
Worm
menu
something.
of some of the most ridiculous festivals I have ever
Can't
heard
remember
of.
what-
So, of course, we have cheese rolling. How about the Dorset Knob Festival? It's basically a hard biscuit that people hurl competitively. We also have the Straw
be a
Bear
spectator.
Festival. So this man is led through the streets in Cambridgeshire, and honestly, looks like a horror movie. Then, of course, you have Bonfire Night. Now, I
Bonfire
have
Night,
celebrated
yeah.
Bonfire Night for many years here in the UK. It is wild when you think about it. I guess that's one of the things, being here for 7 years, Bonfire Night has become a yearly tradition, right? But when I actually sit down and I think about it, that's pretty weird, isn't it? However, you guys didn't tell me that the village of Ottery St. Mary in East Devon goes a little bit above and beyond everybody else, right? So we're talking about fire.
I love
We're
it.
talking about fire in the streets. We're
Standing
talking
there
about
about to be
literal
burnt.
blazing barrels.
Someone
of
told
tar.
me that kids carry
I love this
those
country.
in some place.
And really, with that, we are only scratching the surface. Another thing you will
Little
see
bit.
in the UK that is so sweet and funny, and I think very British, has to do with offering things to British people. And quite simply, British people cannot accept something unless you offer it to them a couple of times. Now, I saw this a lot, especially when I was working in an office. So maybe someone comes around with like a tin of biscuits and they're like, would you like a biscuit? And the British person has to say, oh, no, I shouldn't. And they're like, oh, come on, have a biscuit. And they're like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, oh, you'll love it, have a biscuit. And they go, all right then. Even though both parties know that that person is going to take a biscuit, they just have to do this little dance first.
Really?
And thinking about this, I don't know if I've ever seen a British person accept something on the first offer.
I feel like I'm kind of that way to an extent.
Really?
Because I don't know, it's about like, I don't know why I do it, but for me, it's more about like being uncomfortable just saying, yeah, I want one. Even though it makes more sense to just be straight up and be like, yeah, I love one.
I'm sitting there like I'm just like straight to the point. Like if someone offers me a biscuit, if I want one, I will be like, yeah, that sounds cool, thank you.
And be like,
and if I don't, I'm like,
I think it's probably
nope.
seen as rude. I would think, like if you're
that's an interesting thing too, because like if I was to come up and offer you something, I'd be like, hey, you want a biscuit?
And you said no.
If you said no, I'd be like,
okay,
all right, have a good day. See you later. I just
like, but I really did.
That's interesting. Let me know in the comments, guys. Is that the way you've experienced life around you? Is that the way you are as well? I guess that's just a cultural thing, because I don't really see that in my life. You say you do that some, but I can't even picture you doing that personally.
It's probably an etiquette thing.
Maybe you do that with people outside of me.
Yeah, no, it would be more people I don't know very well.
Right.
Like,
I'm trying to picture. I mean, maybe, but I can't picture a time that I've done that. But
you're very blunt and honest,
I am. I'm very straightforward, very blunt, very honest.
Which I think is a good way to be.
Yeah, I don't beat around the bush with things. I either want some or don't. I tell you straight up if you ask me. So yeah. So
I don't think I've ever seen it. Does it exist? I don't know. Have you seen it? If we're talking about things that you can only see in the UK, we have to talk about absolutely unhinged roundabouts. And I think you know which one that I'm talking about.
Was it Swindon?
Whenever British people hear that I have a UK driver's license, they always say, when are you going to do the magic roundabout?
The magic roundabout, yeah.
To which I say, I would rather die. So Swindon thought, you know what? How can we put ourselves on the map? Literally. And somebody said,
one crazy, you know, roundabout.
Let's make the most frightening, intense, unnecessarily complicated roundabout system that we've ever done, anywhere else. Let's do it. And so they did. And it's still there. So no, I haven't been to Swindon. Anyone here from Swindon? Hello. I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, and I'm deeply sorry. No, I have not done the magic roundabout. No, I don't like roundabouts. I respect the benefit and the positives of having roundabouts instead of intersections. They do not come naturally to me. They make me clammy and sweaty, but realistically, most things do. Something that you will only see in the UK.
So, how much experience do you have with roundabouts?
Not much. I feel like we have tiny ones.
That's not even a roundabout.
Really tiny,
But like I've only drove roundabouts maybe a handful of times in my entire life.
What is the definition of a roundabout?
I don't know, but I know what you're saying.
Like a courthouse square, like where you come up and you merge into traffic and you.
I guess that's
where you need to go.
I wouldn't consider that a roundabout. Maybe some people would.
So what's a roundabout then? How is it different?
Maybe that's a video we need to do, because we don't
multiple lanes of traffic.
From what what I've seen on roundabouts in the UK, what they're describing, which they have a ton of. Mm-hmm. I've never seen one here.
I think they have them in Massachusetts, in Boston. Because I remember when I visited my family there, I feel like I was young then, but I feel like I remember there was like a roundabout situation and it was like high stress and
so guys, you heard it here first. We think there might be some roundabouts in Massachusetts. No, but like she makes a good point. We do every once in a while, I can't even think of where one's at, but you will come across something we would call a traffic circle, and it doesn't have multiple lanes. It's just like you might have like a small like water fountain thing or some flower bushes in the middle or something, and it's like a circle that's literally the size of this room, maybe. I mean, it's very small, no extra lanes or anything, just a circle, and they're never in big traffic areas. They're always like in these.
I think of like courthouse squares, though.
Yeah, I think maybe you would consider that a roundabout, I guess. And I hadn't thought about that, so that would be a roundabout.
Like 2 lanes.
But those are so easy and uncomplicated compared to like something like the Magic Roundabout, which is something you might want to see at some point. I checked that out twice. I checked it out, learned about it, and then I actually reacted to a driver instructor driving through it for the first time. I think it was for the first time, but really, really different.
Do you think it would be as bad if it wasn't the opposite side of the road that you're used to?
I don't want to say it's bad.
You're a good driver, so I feel like you would probably pick up on it pretty quick.
Yeah, I think I probably would, but it would take me a moment because it's something I'm not used to. But obviously, going and now driving on the left would be a completely new experience. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't get into the UK, get in the car, and say, "Hey, we're heading over to the Magic Roundabout."
Why not? It might be fun. Not for them.
Not for them. I think it wouldn't take me too long to pick it up, but it would take some time. I would have to sit there and watch it. I'd like to ride with someone first to see, because it would be so different with the left-hand driving through something like that. Because, you'll see. We'll have to do that at some point.
Is afternoon tea and crumpets. But
crumpets!
Wait, there's more. So I think every sort of foreigner or expat's list about the UK includes afternoon tea, crumpets, clotted cream and jam, and which goes first, and all that sort of stuff.
Want that.
It's very, very British, but it's a bit obvious, right? We all know about afternoon tea. However, I was out exploring the other day, and I walked by a hair salon. Yeah, a hair salon. And they were advertising a haircut, and afternoon tea and crumpets.
What?
Yes.
That sounds
at a hair
amazing.
salon. I've never seen such a thing before, and I don't know if I'll ever see it again.
I want to look into what crumpets are. That's something to look into. I don't know what it is really.
I was sort of holding off waiting to get one, but I sort of need a haircut. You can go and have afternoon tea and crumpets and get your hair cut.
I love that idea.
Which is just so unbelievably British. It's hilarious. Do you have the crumpets before
That's true, man.
Haircut, during the haircut? After the haircut? What do you do with like bits of hair flying in the air? Do you just ignore it? I don't know what happens. I just saw it and I thought it was hilarious.
So the question is that a normal thing? Is that a normal thing? If you go get your hair cut?
My guess is that's probably.
Or is that just a local thing?
I think it was probably just a new way to drum up business. But that isn't fun.
Right, I get that. But there is something that brings up a thing I'm curious about. Like, because tea and biscuits is so popular. And obviously, I think tea and crumpets, tea and scones with clotted cream and jam, all that is really popular over there. I mean, to the point that, it's like, you could tell tea and biscuits is the one that I think of. But it makes me wonder if that's a common occurrence, because a lot of people have their afternoon tea and biscuits. So do you see that at a lot of different places where you have appointments like haircuts and things like that?
Thing that I love about the UK, and I feel like you can only see it here, has to do with street names.
Oh,
so
yeah.
How about Silly Lane in Lancashire, Dick Place in Edinburgh, Crotch Crescent, Oxfordshire. Does holding my laptop like this bother you?
It scares me.
How about this? Butthole Lane, Leicestershire. Titty Ho in Northamptonshire. Dumb Woman's Lane in East Sussex. Now, I had to Google this one a second time because I thought, surely not. But surely yes, it does exist. How about Tom Tit Lane, another one from Essex, and of course Kent, where I'm from, we have No Name Street.
No Name Street.
Wonderful. I can't say that I've ever come across.
I love that though. It's just funny, man.
In Canada, my understanding is that perhaps the English language and words meant things differently.
Yeah,
do you
I
know
would
what
think.
Back when some of these roads were named,
Yeah.
perhaps. But when you think of Dumb Woman's Lane,
Yeah, that one, there's not really an excuse.
I don't really know how that one makes sense. In Canada, our street names are so recent in terms of
Comparatively.
the grand history of
Yeah,
mankind,
US too.
that the English language is what it is when those streets were named. So we don't really have a lot of cool ones. But we have a million King Street and Queen Street. So many of them. And Main Street.
We have a lot of main streets.
Street.
Main streets in
Say
every
what you will
community,
about
basically.
Canadians, we're really creative. One thing that was really surprising to me as a Canadian here in the UK, living my life, exploring, trying new things, looking for new experiences. Something that was never on my radar as a Canadian, but suddenly is very much a thing here in the UK, are train spotters. Such a large
I gotta look
portion
into
of
that.
Irish people
Movie, Train
seem to be
Spotting?
obsessed
I think
with
it is,
trains.
but
I find it
I've never
absolutely
seen
fascinating.
it. That's something that I've actually had
Is it a
people.
hobby?
Yeah, it's a hobby people have,
Like
and
bird watching kind of?
I think it is something like people go out and they really enjoy trains, and a lot of people in the UK do like trains. I like trains. I don't have a lot of experience with them. I've rode on some trains. I've actually gone from North Carolina to Florida and back quite a few times on the
love
Amtrak.
trains.
You don't?
No,
Have you ever
they're really
rode?
loud
Have you
and-
ever rode on a train?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
Where?
We took Sophia.
I'm not talking about a local train that goes.
No, like not state to state. No.
Right. I'm saying so you never rode on a train long. It's a blast. It's a great way to see the
I feel
country.
like Amtrak is different though than.
And I think you're saying you don't like the loudness of trains living near them, like living like where they're coming through your house and waking you up in the middle of the night or something. Sure, I can understand that. But trains, to ride on them and to go long distances and see the countryside that way is a wonderful
I'm
way
not
to travel.
against it. I just.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
I'm not like
you've never
drawn to it. Either.
You've never that's I understand that, but you've never done it, so you can't really say you don't like it until you do it. And I would say trains is one of the best way to travel. I don't like traveling on bus, but
bus no.
but trains are a blast to travel in because you get to see a part of the country that no one that's driving or flying or riding a boat or any other way. Yeah,
which I would like.
You do not get to see this
scenic.
unless you're on the train. It's the only way you can see this part of whatever country you're in. And so I would definitely like to train. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. That's a separate. We're gonna check out a train spotting video, or at least I am. I don't. Maybe she'll join me for that one, but I'm gonna check that out sometime in the near future. If you have any recommendations for that, please leave them in the comments. But guys, this was an interesting list and a lot more on here to talk about. That I really didn't kind of know as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
A number of these, like I knew how important afternoon tea was, and I'd heard of Mr. Blobby, and obviously we knew about Jaffa Cakes and TV license and so forth. But, there's especially like this food stuff, like fish pie, Wigan kebab. Now I know about cheese rolling. I know they have crazy festivals, but I didn't know about some of these. But what do you think? A lot of these were completely new to you.
It definitely, from the little bit I know about the UK, I still haven't delved very deep.
Yeah.
But from the little I know, it makes sense that these would be a thing.
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what she says. A lot of British culture is extremely unique. And, obviously every country's got their unique things, but it does seem that like when I look at things like some of the characters, Mr. Blobby, or I look at some of the foods and I look at just a lot of different things. There's a lot of uniqueness to it. All right, guys, this was really interesting. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to learn about all things British and Irish. Until next time, guys, peace.
Bye.